it's not necessary, but it will make this race a lot more interesting. Now we gain these positions, but well... Welcome everybody to round 3 of our Le Mans Endurance Series 2005 in Automobilista 2, where today we will start the highlight of this season, as for the very first time on this channel, in any shape or form, we are competing at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the race that gave this series its name. And while our Roll Center Racing Dallara might have been an absolute outsider in real life, we might still have a very good overall package to win this one. In the first 2 races of the season, we have established that the Pescarolos and Courages have the pace, but not the fuel mileage, which really hurt their results badly so far. The Audis are incredibly fuel efficient, but down by a couple of kph on the straights, while our Dallara proved quick enough on the straights, and while not quite as efficient as the Audis fuel-wise, we are able to manage it much better than the Pescarolos and Courages. And here is how we will be going into this race. It's a front row lockout for Pescarolo, whilst we, as Vaninaix and the number 18 Roll Center Racing Dallara, start from P8 as that car beat its teammate and one of the Courages in qualifying. And while the rest of the grid cycles through a few infos about the race itself, we will do 2.4 hours of racing with the in-game time accelerated by 10, so we will see the full 24 hours daylight cycle, as the weather, like in real life for that event, is expected to stay clear all around the clock. So now, without further ado, let's go racing at this iconic venue. Well, and here we are, rolling towards the line through the 4th chicane and through the final chicane as we go racing for 2 hours and 25 minutes. Green flags are out and the 24 hours of Le Mans are underway, and immediately we get a good run on Tom Christensen towards the Dunlop chicane, the first proper corner. Oh, I decelerate too early as I confuse these two small right-handers ahead of the chicane. Really tricky because you actually have to start the deceleration process ahead of that right-hand kink, otherwise you'll be too late on the brakes, so we lose 1 position to Alex Frey in the Courage ahead of us. So now it's only our teammate behind us as we go through Tertre Rouge the first time and on to the long Mulsanne straight, which is divided by 2 chicanes. First one, the Daytona chicane, and the second, the Michelin chicane. But it's a very long straight run. This is where you have some time to relax during the race. Not for now, as we have Frey trying to get past Christensen, but in the end, Frey is very early on the brakes. Christensen passes Ortelli, and we are back into P8. And this is where we should have an advantage over the Audis. And immediately you can see that as we pass Ortelli, getting a good run on Christensen. Can we take him as well into the second chicane? I don't know why I chose the outside line there. This was never going to work. And now down our inside there is Ortelli. Oh, and we make contact with Ortelli. Oh, we send him wide. Frey says thank you very much and breezes past the 2 of us. I think Ortelli's now last in class. Our teammate made it past him as well. Apologies to him, that wasn't smart driving there by me. But yeah, it's a very, very, very long race. It is expected that we have to stop for fuel every 5 laps. Fuel consumption, as always, is accelerated times 2. Yeah, so every 5 laps we will see a pit stop on average. At least that's the case for us. Don't know how it is for the others. If maybe the Courages and Pescarolos have to stop after just 4 laps, or if the Audis can extend to 6 laps per stint. This is something we'll see later on this race, and we will have to adapt our strategies accordingly. But yeah, this is nothing where you have a predefined strategy here, just deciding on the go. As we're making our way back now to start finish. One lap here is around 3 minutes 40 seconds, about that benchmark somewhere. As we go through the Porsche curves the first time. This now is the technical bit that leaves the public roads, and we're now going back towards the proper Le Mans circuit. There is a permanent circuit at Le Mans, of course, but we are only driving a very small part of that one. As now we have the 2 chicanes that end the lap around this iconic circuit. And that is the first lap already done, but not without a spin, as I catch a bit too much curb there in the 4th chicane. We have to let the 2 LMP1s behind us through, and we even drop behind some of the LMP2 cars. Risky rejoin them, but I didn't want to let all of them by. I think we didn't get in the way of anybody. We just managed to get past them, and luckily, out of the Dunlop chicane, we are past everybody in the LMP2 class. But now, we already have a gap to overcome to Ortelli and Kron ahead of us. Luckily, at the end of lap 2, that was already the case, but we lost an entire lap, and they are falling behind the lead group of cars. But let's see if we can find a way past Ortelli and Kron quickly. I think what you were able to see there is that Ortelli is struggling in a straight line like here, but our teammate is struggling in the corners, and that makes it very hard for Ortelli to get past, because here we can easily make a move, just as we do right now. Ortelli just gets stuck behind and there is no chance to pass him. This could be the first time that we see the Audis properly struggling because of the many straights here, and both in Spa-Francorchamps and Sebring we saw that straight line speed is the issue. We make it through the chicane cleanly and yeah, run away from them, and we actually catch up to 2 of the 3 ADT champion racing Audis. No, actually, it's all 3 of them. So they're far behind the 2 Courages and Pescarolos, who are leading this race. And we caught up to the Audis, and look at this! As we go towards Mulsanne corner, also tricky braking, because you have to start ahead of that right-hand kink that is before that 90-degree right-hander. And maybe now, ahead of Indianapolis and Arnage, we might even get an opportunity to overtake them. And luckily we get boxed in there between all of these Audis. Can barely fit 3 cars here alongside each other, so we have to stay behind for the moment. And then into Indianapolis, they have an advantage. I back off, but maybe there is an opportunity coming up for me. But I think this has been our advantage. Now we need to wait for, well, the pit lane pretty much, because there is no long straight here anymore, as we're now going into the Porsche curves, and this is where I think the Audis should have an advantage, which rather should suit them. But yeah, this is lap 5, and as already said, this is when we will have to come in for the first time, and this is also when we see how the fuel situation is for the other cars. 3 Audis ahead of us. Can one of them extend and do 6 laps on the initial fuel fill? Oh, I see an opportunity around the outside. Leave the track there for a bit. Not great. Lost a second or so there. But now into the pits we go, and all of the Audis are going in. Oh, this is interesting. The Courages, they made it, and the Pascarolos till lap 5, so no one stopped at the end of lap 4. So I think this is everybody in lap 5, and this is even worse for the Audis because that takes their fuel advantage away to some extent. Yeah, there we have it. One of the Pascarolos in the pits. Oof. One of the Audis almost gets in our way there, which wouldn't have been an issue because, yeah, there is ghosting in the pits anyway. I decided only to change fuel, but actually, that has given us a huge advantage because it seems like the AI, they are all changing tires, even if that is not necessary. So I think we got a bit of an advantage there. Yeah, not too sure what to think about this, because actually there's no need to change tires. But I'm afraid the AI will do it every opportunity, so yeah, this is a bit of a weird position gain there, and even weirder was that we are now up to first. 2 cars didn't come in for a pit stop, and they've run out of fuel, so we have 2 retirements in LMP1 already, and this is the number 17 Courage, Pascarolo of Sohail Ayari, and Jonathan Cochet in the number 13 Courage. And this is distracting. Now I decide that, well, I should pit. When I pit the next time, I will change tires as well to not have an unfair advantage over the AI. It's not necessary, but it will make this race a lot more interesting. Now we gain these positions, but well, I completely mess up here. This is me understeering into the wall. Heavy crash there. We have to get into the pits once more, and we have to fix some damage. So this is our advantage eliminated, and from here on it will be a recovery job. The good news is we still have over 2 hours of time for a recovery job, but this was unnecessary. Just threw the race lead away here. We're now in the middle of the GT1 cars. They come in at the end of lap 6. But yeah, that means we will stay behind them because this is going to be quite the lengthy pit stop. As we come in to top off our fuel, go for fresh tires now, and then have all the damage repaired. And as you can see, this took over 1 minute 16. But interestingly, look at the top left, we're still 7th in class. We are behind LMP1, LMP2 and GT1 at this point, but we are 7th in class. 3 retirements already in LMP1. And crucially, both Pascarolos. And I think now it's time to recap and see what happened. So this is Sohail Ayari, who stayed out after lap 5, together with Jonathan Cochet. And here, after the second chicane already, this is where he's running out of fuel. So really stupid strategy there by the AI. Where was the hope? There was no way they were going to make this other lap. Jonathan Cochet suffered the same fate a few corners later. So this is how these two retired. And this is now Emmanuel Collard, virtual race leader at this point. He is with the GT1 cars here, dropped behind them because of the pit stop, and they haven't stopped yet. And this is the same corner where I had my accident. Look at this. Something very weird is now happening as he's trying to make it past that Corvette. It almost looks like he got stuck there at the apex of that right-hand corner. Car got flipped, almost like it dug into the ground. So very weird crash. So he's out. And this is now a replay of my crash. I just carried too much speed into there, thinking about what I do with this race now, as I feel like I got into an unjust lead. But from now on, as I said, it will be a recovery job. The good thing is we already made up 2 positions by pit stops there. And here we are approaching the first GT1 cars that we are not lapping, but actually fighting for track position. Ahead of me, Peter Cox. I run into the back of him because I expected him to be a bit quicker through the Porsche turns. But past him and past Jean-Michel Papola, we go back into 18th overall. But it's going to be a very, 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 very long way till we actually fight some people in our class. We jump ahead in time even further. Sun is already starting to go lower and lower. And this is actually hampering visibility down this straight where it's really in our face. This is scary because we saw that there are two quite slow Corvettes ahead of us. Luckily now the sun's behind the trees there. But yeah, visibility an issue with the sun so low. And with so many cars, slower cars on track, luckily in a straight line, the difference between GT1 and LMP1 isn't too bad. But look into the corners. Indianapolis and Arnage. Let's try not to lose too much time behind them because we can use every second. We need to catch up. But then we get boxed in there between the two Corvettes. Past one of them we go. Exiting Arnage. Past two of them. And then there's Benjamin Leuenberger in the second Chrysler Viper. And we're past him as well. Back into 15th. Now almost past all of the GT1 traffic. Now we got a bit unlucky with that Aston Martin as we have to wait for the pit straight to make an easy pass on him. Give him a wide berth because this has gone wrong at Sebring already. Might have been his teammate, Pedro Lamy back then, but Darren Turner, much cleaner pass we do on him. As we are now in lap 15, or at the end of lap 15, and that means it's time for the other cars in our class to pit. We move up one position and we're up to 6th. We will have to stop at the end of this lap though, so this is only momentarily, but at least we see a car of the same class ahead of us. Stefano Ortelli just came out the pits ahead of us, which you could think is good news because actually we see another car from our class. But the bad news is, well, we will have to pit as well, so essentially they all have a pit stop advantage on me. So in these last 103 minutes, we will have to gain an entire pit stop worth of time on our opponents in class. The good news is we will definitely score points. It's a double points event. But at the moment, the Audis are all ahead of us. Past Ortelli we go with ease. That's the advantage of the quicker car. In a straight line, less fuel on board and slipstream. But well, after a pit stop that has neutralized itself, we actually move up to P6 because there has been another retirement. Alec McNeish stopped on track as we just passed a stricken Darren Turner who was facing the wrong way there in the second chicane. The first chicane actually, sorry. As once more past the pits we go, and we're gaining a couple of positions. But this time, we have reached the LMP2 class. So we're fighting with some prototypes. Even if it's not the same class, we're now back with them. And yeah, if we passed all of them, then we can set our sights on our direct opponents again. At the moment, P6 is secure because we had 4 retirements. Still all the ADT champion Audis except Alan McNeish are ahead of us as we make our way past one of these LMP2s. Gets a bit of slipstream there from Freddie Lienhardt. So yeah, again, it's only a recovery drive from here. We haven't properly battled a car of our own class since lap 5. Still, it's getting darker and darker as we're approaching the middle of the night now. We're getting close to Paul Belmondo. Let's hope that after this chicane we get a good exit so that we can pass him with ease ahead of the Mulsanne corner. Which we do. He's currently P2 in LMP2. So we're making progress. This is the good news. and we can't finish lower than 6th. But that's pretty much all of the good news I have for you right now, as we make it through Mulsanne cleanly, even if Belmondo came close to us. And then this is the beginning of lap 15, and once more we were catching up to another LMP2 car. Well, and here we are now getting close to Mike Newton, leader in LMP2 for Ray Mallock Limited. Slipstream, and easily we go by ahead of the first chicane. And this is where we are going to stop for the first part of our 24 hours of Le Mans. We have now passed all of the LMP2 cars on track and are in theory back at the back of LMP1. This is the current running order that you see on screen right now. After 14 laps, which means this lap, all of the LMP1s ahead of us will have to come in, the next lap we will have to come in, and this is when we'll see where we're currently at. We might fall behind some of the LMP2s, but they are all on very different strategies. I think in theory there is still a possibility that we can fight with some of the LMP1 cars next episode. And this one will be out next week, so subscribe to not miss that, leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time